We're live. Sunday, people. How the hell are you? It's your neighborhood Jesus. So, we got some updates. As always, just seems like this channel's nothing but fucking updates. Going to figure out somewhere to put this phone. Prop it up or do something. Maybe this will work. Hey, there we go. That works. Gotta multitask. You got cigarettes to smoke, coffee to drink. Let's wait for some people to get in here. Oh. And while people are getting in here, I gotta check something real quick. Oh yeah, she's still fucking leaking. Later though. Just excuses. Some bullshit. Don't you hate it when you fucking have coolant leaks? Not a fan. Not a fan at all. I think it's something minor though. I think it's coming from the coolant overflow reservoir, the drain at the bottom with the hose. I think the hose isn't. I think it's got a hole in it or something. Something, because it does not make sense. It did not make sense. Where the fuck is everybody at? Hey, there we go. Somebody's on the head counter now. Who we got? It's fucking cold out here. I debated getting a jacket and I didn't. And now, don't you love it when a fucking Honda just locks itself back? Now shut up. Mossy, thumbs up. What's up, man? How you doing? But yeah, fucking, man, I want to wait for some more people to get in here so we can talk about this update. There will be a video of footage of yesterday and an update and shit like that. So, I don't know. I guess this live stream might be useless. But I'll show you one thing that did. Well, actually, a couple things that got done. I might get the key. Just maybe. I guess I could just turn it that way. Wideband. A go. Now, I am having one issue with the next thing. Let's lift this bitch. Sorry about that, y'all. Apparently. I'm not quite sure what the hell's happening. This is why I fucking like Apple and not stupid ass fucking Samsung or whatever the fuck. Yeah, I just don't know where this motherfucker's leaking at. I really don't. Somebody's back on the head counter. Who we got? But as you can see, when I came out to the car yesterday after we got the radiator in, yes, we got the Koya rat in. Get my flashlight. We got the Mishimoto aluminum fan shrouds in. What's up, Tommy Lou? How you doing, man? We got the new radiator hoses in. Shit like that. So all that's, good to go. But the problem is it's leaking somewhere, and I know it's not the radiator. I know it's not anything to do with the radiator or the hoses. They're brand new. There's no holes in them, anything like that. So it's got to be the fucking, I'm thinking like the overflow reservoir or something like that, something small, or like a piece of existing hose, like on the drain of the overflow or something like that. See what the chat says. Tommy Lou says turbo. Are you asking if I'm going turbo, or is this a turbo? This is not a turbo. D Mossy says nice fittings. Caden, what's up, man? Hello, daddy. Tommy Lou says, is that a catch can? Yeah, that is a catch can. It's a monster of a catch can. Some people are like, you don't need all that, man. And you don't necessarily need all of that. It's not so much for like high pressure in the crankcase for like, if you were supercharged or turbo, or you're running a lot of boost or something like that, because they use them. I get that. But it's more for making the system emissionless. No recirculation of blow-by gas back into the in-tank. Fuck all that. I want the engine to be clean. I want it to be as clean as possible, basically. Oh shit, wrong one. D Mossy says upper housing or thermostat. You mean the upper radiator neck, or the thermostat in the lower one? They're tight. That's the crazy thing. We tightened them down, man. I don't know how they'd be leaking, because it was leaking like a fucking puddle. It wasn't just like a few drips. It was, when I came out here, there was about a fucking, as much as you can make with your arms, like. And if we look at our and for as much, here's the crazy thing. Here, I'll show you guys. For as much coolant as we lost, I mean, it took all those rags to sop it up, right? And the level is, you could see it, right? Look down in there. Here, I'll even show you guys. Grab a flashlight. I can still see it down there. It lost a little bit, but you can still see the Honda coolant. It's lost a little bit, but I mean, for as much as it took 10 shop rags just to sop it up, I mean, what do you guys think? It's probably from this fucking overflow. That's what I think. Nothing like some coolant. All right, let's turn this back around. Somebody said something. Tommy Lou says, "What oil do you use?" And he said, "But what does it do for NA?" I mean, for NA, it's not like a power gain or like a performance gain necessarily. It's more of just like keeping the engine without any emissions, any blow by gas going through it. Like no carbon, no nothing. There's no emissions on this car whatsoever. There's no catalytic converter. There's no evap. There's no nothing. There's no PCV back into the manifold. There's no crankcase vent nipple thing going back into the intake. I mean, if you guys still have like, here, I'll show you. See right here on a stock K, this right here should have like a breather nipple that goes into this with a piece of hose. Take off your intake sometime and look at all the fucking carbon and nasty shit that goes back into your engine. I don't fuck with it. What oil do you use though? Just good old conventional Pennzoil 5W30. I don't fuck with synthetic. Main reason I don't fuck with synthetic is because let's say the engine started its whole life. You bought a used engine from H Motor or wherever. When you started with conventional and you switched to synthetic has smaller molecules. So it seems like it opens up a can of worms. It promotes like ring wear and the engine like wearing out quicker. I mean, yeah, you get more mileage out of synthetic. You know, like you can go 7 to 10,000 miles without an oil change. But we're car people, man. Who the fuck doesn't want to change their oil? I always want to change my oil. Demossi says, what upper housing are you running? What thermostat are you running? So the upper housing, like the water neck, is just a stock K20A, K series, water neck. You're talking about that right there, right? That's just stock. And then thermostat wise, I'm running the upgraded Spoon Sports thermostat that kicks on quicker, and the Spoon Sports fucking thermostat fan switch. Justin David, what's up, man? I mean, Lou says you get more power. You get more power from what? From synthetic oil? I don't believe that. If you get more power from synthetic oil, people would be praising that shit. Because I know both people that both run conventional and synthetic in RSXs, K series, and stuff like that. It's not really make or break if you're running conventional and you should be running synthetic. I don't believe that. Tommy Lou said, yeah, the dealership put it in my base. The dealership put it in your base? That's why you think it gives you more power? Tommy Lou, come on, man. Do you believe everything a car dealership does? They'll fucking tell you whatever they got, whatever they stock is the best. It's the same way to O'Reilly. Some months we're stocking Castrol GTX Edge oil, and I'm going to tell you that's the best oil because every time I sell 5 gallons of that motherfucker, I get $2 cut. I get $2 commission. So if you come into O'Reilly, I'm going to tell you Castrol Edge GX, whatever the fuck in the green bottle, is the best shit because I want money. That's how occupations go, man. I mean, let's be real. Pennzoil is one of the biggest refineries in the fucking world. So, reason I go with Pennzoil is because they're the big dog, you know? That's what it comes down to. D. Mossy says still have heat. You know, that's a really good question. Let's check it out. Yeah, like most people burp the cooling system. You know, they just start it up, crank it on heat, and let it run all the bubbles out and shit. We didn't have to do that yesterday because we have like a vacuum bleeder. But heat. About that fucking Android took over my phone. Yeah, I don't think I have heat. It's pretty ice cold. It feels pretty ice cold, and it's on heat. Yeah. Yeah. About that. Yeah, I don't have heat. That's the problem. God damn it. You know, times like this, we just want to rip out the AC, the power steering, and the heater core. Now, the real question is, how much coolant just came out that motherfucker? Oh, yeah. Oh, yeah. Wait, flip it around. Oh, yeah, she was leaking. Yep, it's definitely time to take to that. Tommy Lou says, conventional clog the VTEC solenoid. Oh my god, Tommy. What snake oil are you reading, Tommy? Dude, dirty oil in general is going to clog the VTEC solenoid. It's a little mesh screen. You got air in the coolant, that's why you burp it. A vacuum bleeder should do the trick. I mean, that vacuum bleeder got all the air out. You saw the hose collapse, you know, like before we put coolant in it. Sucked all the air out of the system. It was driving fine, you know? It didn't overheat. It didn't leak until I got home. I did it with a funnel cold start. Yeah, that's how most people do it, but the problem with that is you gotta wait like 30 or 40 minutes to get every fucking bubble out of there while you're fucking you know, waiting. Because the whole reason I was going to do it that way. And Jerry's like, I got a vacuum bleeder. You know that, right? I was like, yeah, that would help. I wonder why the fuck I don't have heat, though. Like, no heat. That still wouldn't explain necessarily why the fuck it's leaking. You know? It's not like, it's not just a dribble here or there. It's like, you know, it lost a fuckload of coolant. Yeah, I would suspect, I definitely suspect that that fucking drain, that overflow drain hose, it's probably fucked up. I mean, it's definitely, yeah, I'll probably go back over to the shop tomorrow, get it all buttoned up, because when we ran it, the fucked up part is when we ran it, Ran it for about 5-10 minutes. No leaks. We changed the oil. We changed the coolant and everything. Fresh fluids. Didn't see one fucking leak. So I was like, oh, we're good to go. But now, not so much. But yeah, that's some of the updates, honestly. Fucking. Smoke me another cigarillo. Fuck, there's another update. Well, now we got nobody in here. All right. Is anyone still here? The head counter says 0. Woo. And then somebody's back on the head counter. Who we got? I feel like the head counter these days is like completely inaccurate. I'll have 2 or 3 people in here and it'll say fucking 0. I don't understand. YouTube's fucking up. Any day now. You will if you burp it. Yeah, I guess I'll try that tomorrow. Because my coolant, like, you know, my big ass funnel and my fucking coolant's over at the shop. So yeah, real swell. But since we got some people back in here, all right. So obviously, if you guys watch the channel, you knew I was installing the Gruppe intake, the RAM air system this weekend. Well, clearly, it's not here. It didn't get installed, and you're probably asking yourself, why didn't it get installed? It didn't get installed because it will not fit. See, to do the as far as I knew, to do the Gruppe intake box, you have to convert your wipers to right-hand drive. So, Camo FK8 from Australia went to a junkyard, found me a set of right-hand drive DC5 Type R wipers, the wiper motor, the wiper arms, the wiper blades, the windshield cowling, everything. And thank you very much for sourcing those items for me, Cam, but unfortunately, they do not work. There's feasibly 100% no way you can install right-hand drive wipers on a left-hand drive car. Now, you could if there's a couple things. If you were converting the car to right-hand drive, I'm talking a whole front nose clip, the whole front half of the car, you could do it no problem. Well, I wouldn't say no problem. It'd be a lot of work and fabrication, but you know, you could do it that way. The reason you can't install it on this car is because of the fucking windshield. The windshield and the metal windshield mating surface for the cowling, you can't do it. There's no way. Because I wish I would have took a picture of it when I had the cowling off. Like, imagine, right, do you still got the rear wiper? I do on this car, but it's very soon it's going to be gone. So I'm putting a new hatch on the car. But imagine right here. You see how like large of an angle that is, right? That's like because underneath here it's a very small channel, and then over here is a very large channel. You can even see if you look through that waffle vent, you see the wiper motor assembly over there. There's no physical way to fit that in here. There's no way. You cannot do it. You know what I'm saying? So that's a problem. But even these trim pieces, they overlap. So like imagine this one being over here, this long one being over here, being flip-flopped. They don't match up. You know what I'm saying? Like I thought there wouldn't be, hard to put into words. I thought it wouldn't matter because it would just cover everything up, but that's not the case. There's gaps, you know what I mean? You can see like underneath the car, like the windshield cowling and stuff, it doesn't cover everything up. And it doesn't even line up at all, you know? You have to have a right-hand drive windshield to even get in the ballpark of pulling it off. So, yeah, that was something I definitely didn't anticipate. And I probably should have because I feel like I researched it enough, but clearly not. I mean, dude, I didn't even know right-hand drive and left-hand drive windshields had anything different between them. I thought it was just all one piece of glass that's all the same distance underneath the cowl, but it's not the case at all. But yeah, in regards to your question, Tommy, I do still have the rear wiper, but on my new hatch, if you haven't seen what the previous owner did to the car, there it is. Look at that. Real fucking swell. And I'm pretty sure this is where my water leaks are coming from. I mean, that is just unexcusable. That's unforgivable. You know what I'm saying? See, this is where there's a factory spoiler dimple hole, like template hole, and there's that one right there. He just decided, fuck it. Let's just take a goddamn drill bit and just sawzall or whatever the fuck he did. I mean, what a fucking retard. So there's that. And then this side isn't as bad, but he used one of the dimple holes, but then drilled it out more, which is stupid. Then that one, he actually used the dimple hole as well. And, yeah, drilled it out more. Like he fucked up the f***ing. And not to mention, I don't know if you guys can see or not, he didn't even use a wing spoiler gasket. Now, what most people do is they'll just get like a sheet of foam or something like that, They'll get some like foam and they'll cut it out and make a template for the spoiler gasket. Well, I've gone one better. I found some in Japan that are for a real, DC5 Type R spoiler. You know what I mean? They're the real in Honda package OEM fucking spoiler gaskets with like 3M material. And I got like 3 pairs of them. So like, if anything ever happens to them, I'll have backups. Then I'll have another backup. But, you guys get my drift. Like, it didn't even have a spoiler gasket. That's probably where some water's coming in. And those fucking holes. So stupid. Really fucking dumb. But I mean, other than, I'm still enjoying the car. I mean, car's a lot of fun to drive. There's our battery relocation. And then just some random shit in the back of my trunk. I do have I do have to re-weld that bracket on for the subwoofer because, and yes, I did take the Mishimoto stickers off my car because fuck Mishimoto. Their sponsorship is trash. Yeah, I did take it off on both sides, right? Yes, I did. These are all the sponsors that deserve a spot. Well, not even really, wouldn't even say sponsors necessarily, just like, you know, companies that are in the build or support the build and stuff like that. Tommy Lou says suspension. The car is currently on A-spec package suspension, which is not, you know, nothing crazy. But if you look at, it's not slammed or anything like in the back. It's about 3 fingers in the back. And then the front, it's about, it's 3 fingers in the front, but it's, I'd call it more like 2.5. Now, reason I'm staying with the A-spec suspension for now, at least until I get some like buddy clubs, or I mean, I would love to save up and get some Ohlins or something like that. Something really nice. As is, the car drives and handles like really fucking nice. The ride quality with the A-spec package, it's so much nicer than like Type S suspension. I want to say it's almost nicer or nice as the Type R suspension. Like, it handles so fucking good. I mean, I've literally taken turns at like 75 or 80 miles an hour. Not like right-hand drive turns, but, you know, going around bends and stuff, going like 75. Car doesn't lose any grip or anything, you know. It dives right into a corner and stays in it. So that's kind of why I'm like, you know, I mean, coilovers would be nice. I'm not going to lie, but I don't know. It's just like, you know, I want to get the motor built up. But back to the Gruppe thing, you know, the Ram Air system. So now that I know I can't run that on my car, which really sucks. I mean, the only way I can make it run is, so basically I'd have to keep left-hand drive wipers, right? And what I would have to do is cut a porthole in here, right? I'd cut a porthole in here and somehow try to make the duct work. Now, the problem with that is the duct is about as long as here to here, right? And the intake sits right here to here. So there's this gap over here. So this much of the Ram Air duct is basically useless. And then it's just a clusterfuck, you know? Like, reason I like the V2 right here is because, I mean, look how much space we have. You know, the engine bay looks like it has, you know, a good amount of space. With the Ram Air Gruppe box, I mean, it takes up every inch of this. You know what I mean? Like, it literally takes up and hogs every inch of the engine bay. So it's just, I don't know. And I've been thinking about, I mean, what would you guys do with this build? If you were keeping it NA, would you get a Skunk 2 Ultra manifold and, like, you know, a cold air intake down the bumper? Or would you go turbo? Would you get ITBs and fully build the motor? Like, what would you guys do? Because there's so many routes, so many options and like paths you could go with this car. And I'm kind of like, I really, at this point, I don't know what I want to do. Like, should I stock block supercharge it? Should I stock block fucking turbo? kind of like, I don't know what I want to do with it. Should I just keep it the way it is? Tommy Lou says, I'd get ITBs just because they're loud. Well, the thing is, if you want to get power out of ITBs, you're going to need to build the motor. You're going to need higher compression pistons. You're going to need a milder cam. You're going to need E85. You know, you're going to need those things to get a power gain out of it. Now, if we're just going off of, you know, they sound cool, they look cool, you could use them, you know. They probably wouldn't be as daily drivable as you'd like, but I'm not really worried about that because I'm thinking about getting a second car anyway. Like, I'd still drive this car, don't get me wrong, but at the same time, I almost want to get a second DC5 and you know, make that a stock daily car or something. I mean, I would still, like, you know, make it look nice like this car, but you guys get my drift. Like, see if I can show you under here. And it's Sidewinder turbo. If you look under here, well, yeah, these are the stock floor mats that came with the car, and they're not stock at all. I mean, they're not horrible looking. There's black, and they have like some red trim, but I do have a spare set of championship white Type R wheels. And to be completely honest, they need some love, man. They need to get repowder coated. They're not the worst I've ever seen, but they're definitely not in good condition. Kind of why I've just been, you know, sitting them under here on this car cover, trying to I wouldn't say forget about them, just put them on the back burner, because like getting your wheels repowder coated is it's not super expensive, but it's not super cheap either. I think it costs about $150 to $175 a wheel. So that's like, you know, about $700 to get them like factory powder coated. True story. But yeah, me personally, you know, I'm just debating what I want to do with the car. It's hard to put into words. I mean, I would love to fully build the car, you know, get some Wiseco's, some fucking Eagle or Manly rods or something, and get a drag cartel, you know, like either 2 or 2.2 drop-in cam, something nice. But for what the Type R engine is, I mean, from the get-go, it's got 11.5 to 1 compression. It's making decent power. It's got stock factory LSD. You know, it's got a nice gearbox. And I feel like if it's not broke, don't fix it. You know what I mean? Like, if let's say I had like a stock K24, just like a CRV motor K24 A4, I feel like that would be the one to fully build, kind of like what Surge Motive's done. He grabbed like a CRV 24A4, and that would be the one to build. So I don't know. I might just like I've thought about the idea of it'd be kind of cool to get a Skunk 2 Ultra race manifold, get like a 90mm throttle body, and rock that. But and then, you know, if anything ever happens to the motor, or, you know, I get another car and get another project, put a Frankenstein swap in that one, you know, do K20 head, K24 bottom end, and try to get the next motor fully built, because it's hard to put into words, guys. I mean, it's a lot of money to do this shit, it ain't cheap. I love all these people that are like, oh, it's not a lot of money. Yeah, it is. I don't know what kind of jobs y'all got, but shit, I fucking quit. I'm broke as a joke. Even when I was working, it's still a lot of money. But I mean, the only money I got in, revenue or whatever you want to say it is, shit like this, fucking parts galore, man. Fucking stock Type S seats, strut tower bars, trim pieces, stock muffler, stock manifolds. Those are just boxes. Fucking steering wheels, bumpers, Type R manifold, bunch of stuff. And this is like a quarter of the stuff I have. I have so much shit over at the shop, it's not even funny. I mean, I literally have 3 front bumpers, 1 rear bumper, about to be 2 rear bumpers. Or wait, no, I do have 2 rear bumpers. Yeah, I got a blue one and I got a silver one. And then I'm about to take the front bumper off this car and get a real Type R front bumper and lip, because any of you guys that haven't seen, this is the new front bumper or rear bumper. Look at that paint color. And it's dirty, keep in mind, but then look up here. Can you guys see the difference in color? Yeah, about that. I mean, look how dark that is. And then look how light color this is. This is the new color. This is like a true Arctic blue pearl. And this shit looks like royal blue meets navy blue. So before H Day, I mean, from right here, you can't tell too bad on camera. Then you get up close. That is definitely lighter than the rest of the car painted by fucking Mako, whoever painted it. Like, yeah. So the rest of the car will be getting painted before H Day. That's a definite. And yeah, I don't know, man. I'm just kind of at a crossroads now. I thought this Gruppe shit was gonna work, but it's not gonna work the way I want. I want to make the car look clean. I want it to look the way it should, not just like a hack job, because I probably could have made it work yesterday, but the way it was looking just looked super hack jobby. And yeah, true story. But yeah, if you guys got any more questions or comments, I guess get them out, because I'll smoke my last cigarette out here, finish up my coffee, and then I'm probably gonna regurgitate all this into a video so people can watch it. And then probably track down this leak. Oh, also, it's funny because if you guys could see, so I bought this from O'Reilly. It's just a rotary tool. I'm thinking about, see, this Koyo rad looks nice. You can't even see it, right? I'm thinking about notching out a section where you can see it. You know what I mean? Like, it would be pretty badass if you could see more of the Koyo rad. Because, I mean, you can barely even see it's there, Like, you see a little 2 or 3 inch hole, and you can't even tell it's there, you know what I mean? So it'd be kind of cool to, fab up and just notch out a little rectangle so you could see it. You know what I mean? What do you guys think about that? Would that be kind of cool, or would it just be like, that looks dumb? Because I mean, you can see it a little bit, but for as much money and time as you put into upgrading your radiator, like, I feel like you should be able to see more of it. You know what I mean? That would make sense to me, at least. I don't know. As long as I could pull off the cuts, you know, make them straight and clean looking. Let's see. Tommy Lou said turbo like any car, any modern car, epic power. Do you have side markers? On these fenders, no. These are just stock Type S fenders, but I do have a set of Type R fenders with the side markers over at my shop. Those are about to get painted and put on the car. The reason I haven't done that yet is because they do have a little knuckle mark in it, one of them. I'm hoping we can just like pull that mark out. But I was debating the idea of buying a whole front clip of the DC5 Type R over at JSpec. I didn't want to because all I really need is the fenders and the bumper. And they're selling the headlights and the hood and everything, the radiator core support and like everything, right? So I was like thinking to myself, I was like, well, if I could get by with just, you know, using the fenders, the Type R fenders I have, then all I would need is the bumper. You know what I mean? So, I don't know. I just don't know. But yeah, there will be Type R fenders, side markers, you know. Definitely one of the last pieces to put on the car for the whole Type R thing. I also want to get the, so you hear that? That's my fucking side view mirror. I mean, whoever owned this car before me really fucked shit up. I mean, the motor that came with it almost had a blown head gasket. The hatch, the interior, the fuel pump was cracked. It smelled like gasoline when you'd fill it up past half. Shit like that, you know. They didn't love this car. They didn't take care of it. And obviously, you know, not everyone's going to love a DC5 as much as me, because there's a lot of owners that fuck their DC5s up. But it is what it is. It is what it is. On a side note, though, the previous owner of this car has been sending me $30 every month, and he's going to do that until we reach $500. So he's giving me a $500 refund over a payment plan. Now, $30 a month does not seem like a lot of money at all. It's very minuscule because it's going to take him like at least a year to pay me back. But it's the thought that counts. You know what I mean? Because of all the stuff out of this car, I've sold so much stuff out of this car to recuperate my fucking money. You know? Tommy Lou says, I just installed mine on stock fenders. Well, that's not cool, Tommy. No JDM points. I just don't trust myself cutting those templates out. What if you get one crooked or like, you know, it's in the wrong spot? Cam, what's up, man? How you doing? Hey, Cam, I have no heat in my car and my radiator's leaking. Well, not the radiator, but somewhere is leaking coolant. Yeah. But I have no heat in the car, Cam. We we burped it, you know, like, we hooked up a vacuum bleeder and, you know, got all the air out of the system, but apparently not. Because, I mean, there was a good amount of coolant. I needed all these rags to clean up and get the puddle off the fucking floor. Insane. Because if it was buffering on my end, I know that circle you're talking about. It would be pissing me off right now. I mean, the counter's still going. 52 minutes and 10 seconds. Be y'all. Tommy says, okay. Wing King says, put that cancer stick out. No. And hey, Wing, I'm going to have to get my valve cover re-powder coated because your work's flaking away. Not happy. It had a good run, but it needs proper powder coating. I don't understand why it's flaking away. Like, if you bake it in an oven, why is it flaking away? Cam says back. What up, Cam? Cam says, hey, Wing. Then this is the part where he says, hey, camshaft. Tommy Lou says spray paint. No. We do good work, man. We're going to get that shit. Probably due to mini coats. Well, it's like flaking. Here, I'll show you, man. It's right around the fucking oil cap. Let's see the ground. Like all right there, you see that? I mean, if I took my fingernail, that shit would just like... And also another thing, for this catch can, I think air does get in the system, like condensation, because my cap is doing this like on a fucking daily basis. It's fucking it's getting milky, probably because it's so cold, but then at the same time, probably because of the catch can. You know what I'm saying? Because I wiped that shit off yesterday and it's already back. And I know the car doesn't have a blown head gasket because that milkiness would look like, you know, it would look like milky if it had a blown head gasket. It's either a, when you see that, it's either a blown head gasket, the car doesn't get driven enough to get the condensation out, or it's just got a lot of condensation in it, you know? So I'm not too sure. I know it doesn't have a blown head gasket, so that's the only thing that makes me sleep good at night. Cam says, did you have the heater on hot when you filled it up with coolant and bled it? Did you use the funnel you got? No, we used a fucking vacuum bleeder. Like, we put a vacuum bleeder on it and got all the air out before we put the coolant in. You know what I'm saying? Which might not be the best way to do it. But that wasn't my call. That was Jerry's call. He was like, we're not waiting around 30 or 45 minutes to burp the cooling system. He's like, we got this fucking vacuum bleeder. Wing King says sometimes that happens in that area. Yeah, well, I think it's a combo. I think it's like, I mean, I drive the car for very short distances, you know what I mean? I drive it for like 30 minutes at a time, usually, going to get a cup of coffee or going to work or shit like that. Then I turn it off and it sits. Cam says DC5's a cunt to bleed the air out. I believe it, dude. That's what I was saying. I was like, dude, K-Series, like, apparently it's a bitch to bleed the cooling system or burp the coolant system. And he was like, this vacuum bleeder is going to do the trick. And clearly it has not done the trick because I have no heat. But tomorrow I'll go over to the shop and we'll track down the leak. I think it's from the overflow, Cam. You know, the overflow reservoir drain tube. I think that's where it's coming from. I think that would be the only place for it to come from. All the other hoses are sealed. I mean, if you look up here, it sure as shit ain't leaking from the upper radiator neck hose. And it sure as shit ain't leaking from this side, you know? Because there'd be a trail of coolant. And I know it ain't leaking from the lower radiator neck hose. Tommy Lou says DIY on Club RSX. Yeah, could check that out. Was the reservoir? I can't even talk. Was the reservoir overfilled? No, it was right at max, like between max and minimum. Cam says hiding the radiator. Well, no, Cam, that's funny you mentioned that. I was thinking about doing what you did and taking my rotary tool and cutting a channel out of here. You think I should do that? I mean, that'd probably be the better thing to do, right? Cam says yes to chop it. Wing King says you still want the Type R cover wrinkle yellow. Honestly, I don't know if I'm gonna have time to send it out to you and stuff. We're getting like pretty close to H Day. I might just get a shop next to my work. Well, not my work anymore because I quit, but they do wheel powder coating and like wheel repair, and they said that they could help me out and give me a good price on powder coating my valve cover because it's about the size of a wheel, so they could do that. And yes, way guy, putting the cancer stick out now. Cam says cut whole middle section out like I did. Cut the whole middle section out. Yeah. That would be doable. I would just like chop it from I would go with this contour right here. Straight cut there. Follow it over. Straight cut all the way across. Come up. Straight cut, straight cut, straight cut, straight cut. Just kind of like that. Just like a porthole, basically. A porthole. But yeah, if I had my fucking funnel here and some coolant, I would just bleed it right now because I got time, but I don't have any coolant here, and I don't have any I don't have my fucking funnel, you know, my big funnel. So I'll drive the bitch over to the shop tomorrow because it's got enough coolant and it ain't gonna overheat or blow up or nothing, you know what I mean? And I'll drive it very sparingly. But yeah, I'll do that and then go over to the shop, bleed it properly, and then, you know, do what we got to do and track down the leak as well, because that leak is, I mean, it wasn't just a couple drops or even like a small puddle. It was a fucking large ass puddle. I followed the line a little further along a bit more. Yeah, I mean, I'm just trying to make it look not super cut up, you know what I mean? Just like a channel, basically, like a little channel. Because, I mean, I don't know. I just don't know. And the whole Gruppe thing, man, like, I wanted that shit to work. And maybe I could feasibly make it work, but I don't think it's going to look good. I really don't. I mean, we tried. Yeah, we tried making it work, but something about it just didn't look aesthetically pleasing. Because the whole, like, ram air duct on top of the windshield cowling, it's not matching up good with the inlet of the ram air box. Like, the way I was explaining it to Tommy Lou and a couple other people that are in here, it's gonna sit, like, the intake's gonna sit, like, right here. So, like, here to here, maybe, or somewhere in that area. Then the ram air duct has to sit here to here. So it's, like, offset. So it's not gonna get that full, you know, ram air effect per se. It's gonna get, like, an offset, and it'd be cool, but for the money I spent on that thing, and it's not lining up and not matching up and not looking really good, it kind of sucks. I'd rather get my $1,000 back and you know, get some ITBs or build this motor or get a supercharger or a fucking Skunk 2 Ultra manifold, or there's so many better things I could do with that money. Shit, $1,000, I could get a nice set of coilovers or a bunch of shit, you know? A bunch of shit. Yeah. As far as the engine bay goes, I definitely want to take this this radiator core support or my spare one and repaint this for sure, because all this shit looks horrible. I mean, that looks fucking horrible. It looks like somebody took a paintbrush and just drizzled paint on it. Then the frame here, repaint that somehow. And then the fenders will obviously be repainted. And I'm not too worried about all this right here. I mean, it is what it is. But the shock tower, you know, the shock towers, I want to get those repainted as well. And everything else, you know, down in here, and like all the people with the show cars and shit. I don't really give a fuck about any of that. You know? Cam says I'd camo do it and make it fit. We'll see. I don't know. The only thing I don't like about it is, I mean, look how much fucking space you have here. You know, you can get to your motor mount if you need something there, your shift cables and shit like that. This catch can already does take up quite a bit of space as is, right? But I don't know, man. Like, the whole box just taking up this whole area, like this whole area from like here to fucking here is just basically fucking claustrophobic, you know? Like, you have no space to work on anything, and it's kind of, you know, it's kind of blah. It's kind of blah blah. But yeah, tomorrow I'll definitely bleed the coolant system and track down this leak over at the shop, and it's about all I can do until now. And for fun, I'm gonna Cam says it definitely takes up a lot of real estate in the bay. For real though, you know? because it kind of makes me want to I mean, to a degree, it kind of makes me want to either ditch my catch can. See, I just don't know about the setup anymore, man. Like, I almost want to get a supercharger just because that would be easy power, 300 plus horsepower all day. I'd probably like sit it on like 8 or 10 pounds and just make like 300. Because this is 11.5 to 1 compression. I don't think I could run any more than probably about 9 pounds of boost. And it'd be fun, But I think for my personality, for like the way I want the car to be, I would spend more money and get ITBs and fully build the motor and all that shit. And, NA is the way, as they say. But I don't know. There's a lot of boost fanatics out there. Dude, turbo it. But yeah, guys, fucking, we'll have more to come, fucking, there's so much more content to come, and shit, we're getting close to H Day. We're like, almost like, we're a little over 30 days away from H Day. It's like a month and a week, I think. It's like 35 days or 34. So, there's a lot of shit to get done, a lot. The car's got to get painted. I want to get my valve cover repowder coated. I want to get my wheels repowder coated. So, we got a lot of work to do. A whole lot. I need to fix this fucking trim piece, because that's not sitting right. It needs to sit all the fucking way down, and it doesn't, because people can't install windshields. They just can't install windshields. Because on this side, if you look over here at this side, that side sits completely flush. You know what I'm saying? That sits completely fine. It sits a little off, but like that's a lot more acceptable than the other side, because the other side is sticking straight the fuck up. So yeah, got to get some shit done. Same, I got to get mine done too for a Grand Prix next week. Yup, got to get on it, Cam. Got to get on it. But yeah, fucking, I don't know. We'll see what goes on with the car. I don't know. I don't know the future of the car, but I think we'll get something done. Something will get done. I don't know what it'll be, but trying to button the car up, Shit, I'm just glad about that now. The exhaust fits. That's a big step forward. Muffler weighs 4 pounds. Can't go wrong with that. The wideband set up. And ironically, the wideband, I have it. The O2 sensor for the wideband is in the downstream O2 sensor socket, slot. So I'm not running a secondary O2 sensor anymore, just a primary. So the primary, the upstream's what K-Pro is reading. You know what I mean? And the secondary is what the manual wideband gauge is reading. And they're not that far off, honestly. Like, they're a little bit off, but it's really not that far off. You would expect it to be a lot further off, and they're both on point pretty much, Like, when the car's idling, like, one will say 14.6 and one will say like 14.7 or 14.8. You know what I mean? So they're really not that far off, to be completely honest, which is pretty good, because like, let's say like the manual one says 14.8 when the other one says 14.7 or 14.6. That's a little bit more leniency for like, let's say that I think the car is leaning out, I'll let off of it and fucking take it easy on it. But I'm just gonna full send it. Eric says ITBs. Yeah, I mean, I think I think with this motor, with the K20A, what did Cam say? Stoich. Stoich meaning rich or lean. I always forget what that word means. But yeah, like, I think with the K20A, that would be the one exception to do ITBs. It has 11.5 to 1 compression. You know, it's a higher compression motor. You might be able to get away with some like 52 millimeters or 51s or the smaller ITBs. Obviously, you probably can't run no like 67s or something like that. You know, something really fucking large. But it would be pretty badass to get some Kinslers. You know what I'm saying? I'm waiting to hear back from the tuner because, I mean, that motherfucker's harder to track down than the president. You know what I mean? Like, I leave him fucking messages and emails and call him and no fucking answer. Ever. Eric says, you know it will send it. Well, I mean, with ITBs, it's about building the motor. The more airflow you have, you're going to need cams, you're going to need pistons, you're going to need, you know, everything to make sure it's worthwhile, you know? Because, like, without building it... Oh, Stoich is the term for perfect air-fuel ratio. Gotcha. Well, it's fucking Stoich, man. Yeah, on an idle, it sits at right around 14.7, 14.8, 14.6, like right in that area. And then the only time I noticed the car leaning out, like ridiculously, is if you're in 6th gear going about 50 or 60 and you take your foot off the gas and obviously you don't give it fuel. You know what I mean? Eric says, it's a Type R. It's built. Well, like more built, you know what I mean? But you're right. That's like what I'm knocking on the idea of is you have Type R pistons, Type R rods, Type R everything, Type R dual valve springs, Type R cams. So it's not like a K20A2 or a K20A3 that needs to be built. You know what I mean? Because if you think about it, hey, my battery's low. Wow, never thought that would happen. But if you think about it, like, I think it's built enough to, you know, run some smaller ITBs, honestly, some 51s or something like that, you know, like nothing too crazy. But even at 51, and there's 4 of them, that's 204 millimeters of airflow. Cam says mine does the same thing, leans out all the way, goes down to 22. Yeah. Fucking, I mean, what do you think, Cam? I mean, you think it's built enough to a degree? I mean, it's not like a stock, I mean, I know it's a stock Type R motor, but a Type R motor has already got decently high compression. It can rev out to $9,000. You know what I mean? Like, if you think about it, a 4-piston K24 motor, they're, street strip motor or autocross motor, it's like $14,000. It revs out to 9,000. You know what I mean? That's a K24. So this is a K20A, and it can rev out to 9,000 no problem. You know what I mean? So theirs is fully built, and it makes 340 wheel horsepower, and it revs out to $9,000. So it's kind of like, well, mine revs out to $9,000. So mine is semi, we're not going to say fully built, but it's a strong ass motor. You know what I mean? I mean, I haven't had one knock in the car on the knock counter. Cam says small ITBs be okay, just got to be tuned properly. Well, that makes me feel a little better. Fucking, Yeah, like, I mean, if we're going ITBs, I know it sounds silly, like I just like got a little bit of a victory if I could run smaller ITBs, but I feel like if I was going to run ITBs, I'd want to go like 60s, you know what I mean? Like big ones. But I mean, any ITB would be better than no ITB, so can't be too picky, right? I mean, 51's just some Kinsler ITBs just sitting right here. That would be pretty badass, not gonna lie. That motherfucker would, dude, that'd be instant throttle response. But like one thing, yeah, Cam says ITBs is just like having old school multiple carburetors, right? Yeah, that's one of the appeals. It just looks so fucking cool and it sounds so fucking cool. But like one thing La Tommy Law was saying in his old video, or ITB is really worth it. He was saying if your motor's not built, you're not going to make power, you're going to lose power. I mean, for the Type R motor, do you guys agree with that? I don't know if I agree with that. Maybe for like a B16A or some motor that's kind of like, forgive my terminology, chicken shit. Like it's a car, it's a motor, it runs. But I mean, 11.5 to 1 compression is pretty fucking high compression for a stock motor, you know? That's the way I look at it, because I think it could run it. I think 11.5 to 1 and some small ITBs, I think to a degree I could probably get by with just maybe maybe upgrade the cam, get like a drag cartel cam or something like that. That would be kind of feasible. I don't think I would necessarily have to build the bottom end. Usually the problem is you have valve float, valve train issues. If you over rev it, you have valve train issues. You know, drop a valve, float a valve, shit like that. But I mean, I don't think you would need to build the bottom end. They're already forged pistons. They're already reinforced, strengthened rods and stuff like that. You know what I mean? Shit like that. Yay. But I think that's enough car talk. I think we've gone over the updates. The radiator's in. Cooling fans are in. Wideband's in. Gruppe's not. Cam says you'd be able to sell the Type R cams, no worries. How much would you sell them for? Probably about $700, $800. Shit, I don't know if I'd sell them. I'd probably hang on to them just in case anything happens, or trade it for a K24A2. Eric says. But yeah, guys, it's cold as fuck out here. Starting to feel the effects of hypothermia. Not wearing a jacket for the past. Get in there. Dink. Yeah, low battery. Well, this phone's about to die, guys. I'm probably gonna hop on some Fortnite, you know, because I'm a Fortnite junkie. And I'll catch you guys later. Expect a video out later today or tomorrow. Be y'all.